The coronavirus and the new concerns that the surge in the cases could lead to critical shortages of urgently needed medical supplies. Pictures from across the country tell the story. In the hardest hit states, people are lined up for blocks waiting for the testing. Many of them will wait for several hours, and even then, some will be told that the results could take up to a week.
And in Washington, the Trump administration is insisting schools fully reopen in the fall, even though many have not met CDC safety guidelines. During yesterday's coronavirus task force briefing, Vice President Pence announced the CDC will now change its guidance, raising questions about independence. We'll have more on that shortly, but we want to begin in Miami again with our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud. David, good morning. Cases are spiking there. The question on everyone's mind is Florida going to shut down again?
Not that we know of. Listen, all the rollbacks have been somewhat spontaneous, and they've happened at the local county level, not at the state level, because remember, the Governor Ron DeSantis has said, we're not rolling back anything, we are moving forward. And to that point, today in Orlando, Disney World is reopening, but only for pass holders so they can get a preview of what the new park will be like in the middle of a pandemic. And then on Saturday, under very strict public safety rules, we're told, the park will reopen to everyone, even as the state of Florida continues to be a red-hot epicenter of this pandemic.
We're seeing patients come in on the hour.
That's Dr. Randy Katz, an ER physician at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida. On an average day, they would see 250 patients. Yesterday, he told us they received 250 suspected COVID patients by 12 noon.
This is absolutely the busiest it's been since it all started.
Over the last 14 days, new cases across Florida have more than doubled. But critical data like the number of Floridians currently hospitalized is still unknown. And now some first responders are losing access to the addresses of confirmed and suspected infections. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood.
If a firefighter or EMS or a deputy or police officer had responded to that address, they could take the steps to protect that individual and protect their organization.
Sheriff, did the county health department tell you why they would stop giving you the numbers?
They told us in an email that it had become too onerous.
Florida is one of at least 4 states that the White House Coronavirus Task Force says is in a red zone on its risk scale. At a task force briefing Wednesday, Dr. Deborah Birx asked the Americans in those red zones to do this.
Not only use the face coverings, not going to bars, not going to indoor dining, but really not gathering in homes either, and decreasing those gatherings back down to our phase 1 recommendation, which was 10 or less.
In another red zone, state officials ordered the immediate evacuation of more than 60 residents at the Lake Worth nursing home near Dallas. 25 residents there tested positive for the virus. Arizona is another red zone. There are less than 150 ICU beds available statewide. Phoenix Fire Department Captain Rob McCade says COVID calls are off the charts in some parts of the city, and that close to 100 firefighters have likely been infected.
It was humbling, I think, to our department to see so many of our members get it so quickly. We go into any and all situations that are dangerous. This is different.
That risk of infection is the same reason Sheriff Chitwood here in Volusia County, Florida, who you just saw in the story, Volusia County is north of Orlando, says it is unconscionable that his local health department stopped giving him addresses in the county where infected cases are. Because what he'd do is he'd tell his police officers, hey, before you get to 123 Main Street for that 911 call, know that there's an infected person there and you should dress accordingly. We called the Volusia County Health Department to say, why'd you stop sending him the information? They told us it is a statewide directive. Vlad?
David, I'll note that back on March 31st, President Trump was asked about Governor DeSantis and his resistance at home orders. President Trump said back then, the governor knows exactly what he's doing. David, in Florida for us, thank you very much.